TF, other designated non-financial businesses and professionals and professions are also of huge importance as they also face serious money laundering risks. Mr. Chairman, I am happy that this workshop has brought together men and women from various businesses and professions. I can see participants from the business community, judiciary, military, police, bankers, private operators, immigration, the ports, lawyers, and many more. Our collective efforts is therefore needed to put together a robust national strategy that should mitigate AML, CFT, CPF risk in our jurisdiction. The vulnerabilities of our institutions can only be mitigated if we address the weaknesses and gaps in their operations. It is therefore imperative to identify our current strengths as a country for the fight against money laundering, identify our weaknesses in the form of vulnerabilities, make use of the opportunities we have, and fight the threats which are mainly from external sources. Mr. Chairman, distinguished guests, I am happy that our country has conducted 2 national risk assessments and has been mutually evaluated twice by JABA, which report should form part of the materials that the team should leverage upon for this workshop. The most recent mutual evaluation by JABA brought out valuable areas of weaknesses in our money laundering regime, which I believe would be useful for this particular exercise. Distinguished guests, the Bank of Sierra Leone is positioning itself to provide all the support needed to enhance the country's AML, CFT, and CPF regime and ensure that the financial system is safe and sound, as outlined under the bank's strategic pillar, building a resilient financial system under our strategic plan 2024-2028. We assure you that the Bank of Sierra Leone is committed to the process of developing the national AML, CFT, and CPF strategy plan and will respond quickly to the necessary demands as may be required by the strategy when it comes to implementation. In complementing the efforts of the Financial Intelligence Agency, the government, and other stakeholders, the Bank of Sierra Leone has taken the following initiatives to strengthen its anti-money laundering and combating of the financing of terrorism framework and practices. 1. The bank has adopted the risk-based approach to AML CFT examination as required by the revised FATF international standards on combating money laundering and the financing of terrorism and proliferation financing. The Bank of Sierra Leone has also issued out the risk assessment framework for commercial banks and guidelines on corporate governance for commercial banks and financial holding companies. The Bank of Sierra Leone has an existing MOU with the FIA to further strengthen collaboration, cooperation, and information sharing between the 2 institutions in the implementation of AML CFT requirements. The bank has engaged the Sierra Leone Association of Commercial Banks to facilitate the meaningful dialogue between financial institutions on recent global trends impacting AML CFT. Additionally, to focus on risk management issues and implementation of AML CFT prevention measures within the industry is ongoing. Mr. Chairman, in conclusion, allow me to once again extend my appreciation for the efforts of the stakeholders, especially the Financial Intelligence Agency, for providing the opportunity for the representatives at this workshop to share their experiences, knowledge, and skills with other participants. I wish you good luck, fruitful deliberations, and a successful engagement. Thank you all for your attention.
Can we give him another round of applause? Thank you very much, Mr. Deputy Bank Governor, for your assurances. I think that we listened to you. We were actually impressed by the fact that on your own part you've undertaken a number of interventions to lend support to this process. But in particular, you've tried to make sure that the risk assessment framework is developed for commercial banks and other financial institutions, and more particularly your MOU reached with the Financial Intelligence Agency is a commendable thing, because we believe that you are one of the guarantors of the probity and integrity of our financial institution. And so if you have that kind of formal arrangement with the FIA, I think that is something worthy of commendation. We want to thank you very much for that. But you've actually made a promise, and I think the rapporteurs will take note of that the Bank of Sierra Leone is positioning itself to support the AML, the AML, and its related issues to ensure our financial system is safe and sound. I think that's actually the niche from his statement that you may need to recall, because that actually gives accolade to the Bank of Sierra Leone and the fact that they are mindful of their superintending role over the financial institution under the auspices of the Ministry of Finance. So I want to say thank you very much for that. All right, so we are moving to the next speaker, the World Bank representative. Do we have the World Bank representative here? All right, okay. Well, we put an asterisk against them. Maybe in the course of the deliberations, they will be prepared to make a statement. We then move on to the U.S. Embassy representative. Please take.
Good morning, everybody. Thank you again, Mr. Chairman, FIU, all esteemed guests, distinguished table and guests. My name is Kristen Hale. I am the Overseas Criminal Investigator at the U.S. Embassy. I'm a federal agent with the Department of State Diplomatic Security Service. I've had over 19 years in this role, serving in various countries. Prior, I was in Tunisia, Baghdad, Panama, the Bahamas, and I've decided to spend the most time in my career here in Sierra Leone, where I feel very welcome. So I've extended, and I'm going to be here for another year. We've developed a really great partnership with actually many of you in this room. I see some very familiar faces, and most of that's been through our capacity building efforts that we've been able to do with all of our law enforcement agencies. So we're here at the pleasure of the ambassador representing the U.S. Embassy. We come from the security and law enforcement side to help enable the embassy's goals of, developing economic, growth and prosperity here for Sierra Leone. So we do that through capacity building with law enforcement. Typically, it's through Vanessa and I. We also train here in Sierra Leone. We were here in Bo back in November. Our specialty is like passport and visa fraud, fraudulent documents, imposter detection, human trafficking. Those types of things, which all play a role in the money laundering space, drug trafficking space. Obviously, it's all very related. These documents, these fraudulent documents, are often used to propagate the crime, especially internationally. So we want to, we're here to learn more about needs so we can ensure that we provide the training that can best benefit the government of Sierra Leone in the years ahead. We've also provided training through the Department of State International Narcotics and Law Enforcement Bureau. That is the bureau that runs the ILEA training, which is the International Law Enforcement Academy training that some of you have been able to attend in Accra and in Botswana. Last year in 2024, we had some very relevant financial trainings. We did a cyber, dark web, and virtual currency investigations workshop, a financial investigations for public corruption and the prevention of violent extremism, digital evidence for judges and prosecutors, and asset forfeiture and money laundering. So those are a sample of the types of courses that are run out of those Department of State centers, and all of the courses are put on by active U.S. federal law enforcement officers from various agencies such as my own, Diplomatic Security, FBI, Secret Service, IRS, DHS, Customs, all the like. So we've been very fortunate to train many across NRA, TOKU, FIA, SLP, of course, all of our ACC. We've had pretty much somebody from every agency, even in the NCCC for the cybercrime, as well as like maritime. We do seaport and border interdiction. So again, they all come together to help, stop the illicit flow of goods, money, drugs, and humans as well. So in 2025, we have a limited subset of training due to our new administration taking over in January and putting things in a suspended status while they reevaluated the efforts worldwide. We just recently restarted ILEA training, and I see we have head of TOKU here who just returned back from Botswana, so I can't wait to hear about the training. But we do have one cross-border financial investigative training course that's on the agenda for later this year. So once we receive permission to offer that to you, we will be in touch. My colleague Vanessa Charles, I want to highlight over here, she and I work hand in hand. She's our criminal fraud investigator at the embassy. She's been there now since 2019, and she is the mainstay of our overseas criminal investigations program at the embassy. So I hope everyone gets a chance to speak with her throughout the next 2 days and chat about your needs. And we want to develop the training for next year to be inclusive of all the agencies represented in this fight, in this AML, CFT, and CPS space. So our assessment is due every year around May and June, and that is where we highlight the courses that the government of Sierra Leone can benefit from the most. And so we want to hear from you in these 2 days so we can make sure that we're requesting what you need for next year. This would be courses for 2026. Okay, so I look forward to speaking with you, and thanks again for including us in this very important workshop. Thank you.
Christy, thank you very much for that. I think you merely illuminated the fact that your contributions have been quite germane to our capacity building desires, and you have touched many institutions. So I think the FIA should note that leveraging the training opportunities that you are in a position to offer can also augment our determination and implementation of an anti-money laundering strategy. And we are happy that you are quite passionate providing support in that area. So we look forward to fruitful interaction in the immediate future. Thank you very much. We are moving on. I think this mic is what? We will still use one mic if that's the one that's functional. All right. Okay, thank you very much. We are moving on. Christy, thank you very much for your presentation and for the acknowledgement of what we can actually benefit from your institution. We are moving on with the statement. At this moment, it is my pleasure to request Justice Manfred Sisse, who is representing the Chief Justice, to also make a statement, because you realize that the issue that we are dealing with is something that is fully grounded in law, because we are talking about anti-money laundering and other things. The law should be there to back it up. So we are happy that we have a legal person that is coming to talk to us in that regard, although actually they have the climatic statement from Lawrence Person and the Attorney General in South Justice Nature. So, Justice Monk Francis, please.
Good morning, all. Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, members of the High Table, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. I must submit, judges are not trained to make speeches. We are trained to listen to evidence and deliver judgment based on what is presented before. But I have learned quite a lot this morning whilst I was listening and observing those who, so I will try to do something that will be acceptable. My first submission is fighting financial crimes is attractive because it is lucrative. Let's have that at the back of our mind. Financial crimes are attractive, very attractive, because they are lucrative. They draw, they have a magnetic pull. And so we'll have that at the back of our mind. And secondly, is detecting and preventing should be paramount in the strategy that we may have to look at today and tomorrow. Detecting and preventing. If we cannot detect and prevent and they occur, investigation is critical. Investigation is critical. We in the judiciary don't initiate litigation. We don't at all. We sit and wait for the investigators through the appropriate authorities to come to us with the evidence. And so I will enjoin the relevant stakeholders, particularly in the Ministry of Finance, to support the investigative institutions. Because if you have a very thorough investigation, gathering the relevant evidence, and you bring them to us, it will be a smooth sail for us in the judiciary. Most times, the judiciary will throw out matters or acquit and discharge, and the public don't understand. We do so based on law, on the weakness of the investigation, and the poor evidence presented. So I will emphasize, as a very strong component of this strategy we want to consider, is to support those stakeholders that do the investigations for us. It's very crucial, whichever they are. You build their capacity. I listen to the representative of American Embassy that have been doing a lot of training. Thank you very much, and I will intend you to continue because we need capacity to investigate. I must say, thank God, when the Attorney General, thank you. I must commend the Ministry of Justice, Attorney General, Ministry of Justice. A very progressive procedural bill has been passed recently, and we are waiting for it to come into effect, the new Criminal Procedure Act, which now makes provision for the easy admission of internet-based evidence. That was a challenge for this type of offenses we are dealing with, because it's heavily internet-based. And there will be objections here and there, waste a lot of time. But now the new CPA has made provision for the admission of the relevant internet-based evidence. And so when they come to us, I think it will be smooth sail. I've had the personal experience of being a prosecutor before for 18 years, and I'm now a judge for 10 years. So I have a reasonable idea of what I'm talking about. Very sound investigation, cogent evidence will, of course, assure a successful prosecution. And on those two submissions, on behalf of the Honorable Chief Justice, I want to commit the judiciary for our support and participation, active participation in both this kind of strategy development, and when the matters come to us, we'll consider it based on the evidence and the law. Thank you very much.
I think, hello? As I've said, this mic is not good. All right, we want to say thank you very much, Honorable Justice, for that presentation. Like he promised, he has spoken clinically and wittingly, because he warned us that judges speak less, but they listen to the evidence. And I'm happy making the comment at the time the director of FIA is back. He has pledged the commitment of the judiciary to this process, that you should actually count on them. But back to the strategy that we're developing, he has made some very positive recommendations, and you may have to consider these as the key elements of the strategy. He has said we should give niche to detection and prevention. In the strategy, we must make sure that we flesh out those very clearly, so that we are able to contextualize them in a way that they will be pragmatic in our implementation of the strategy. And he also spoke about the issue of investigation. That investigation is quite key, though it does not start with the judges, meaning the respective institutions that have the obligation to investigate financial or fraudulent crimes should be able to do the investigation in a way that they will present evidence that will stand in the court of law. And in doing so, they are supposed to be supported. And he has appealed to no less a person than our Honorable Minister of Finance, for the Minister of Finance to consider the need for them to support the investigative processes, so that we'll be able to implement the AFL framework in a way that it will yield the desired impact, because we know that that is one critical area that requires financial input, and so he is appealing to you so that your ministry considers, providing the financial wherewithal for those institutions that will be immersed in the investigations. So that was the appeal he made. We hope the Honorable Minister of Finance will take note of that. But even on top of that, he actually commended our new Attorney General, Minister of Justice, for ensuring that the CPA now admits internet-based evidence. Of course, we are still graduating to the apogee of that, but the fact that it has started, that is something that is commendable in our legal system. I want to say thank you very much for that thoughtfulness. So we are going to proceed with the statement. We are supposed to now have the independent consultant to make his own statement, but he's not physically present. I've been told that he will be doing so online. So I don't know if the necessary arrangement has been made for him to make a statement. All right, so who is going to connect us to him? So we are listening. Thank you. A little louder, please.
Can I go on?
Yes.
Yes, thank you very much. Mr. Chairman and the members of the High Table, please permit me to stand on the existing protocol. My name is Bonon Duka. I am the independent consultant engaged to support the Republic of Sierra Leone in developing this strategic plan relating to EMS CFT in the country. I retired from Java 2.5 years ago, where I served as the director in charge of evaluation and compliance, and Sierra Leone mutual evaluation was under my purview. So I want to thank you for this opportunity to be here. Let me start by commending Sierra Leone for organizing this workshop, which is a bold step in bringing together all relevant stakeholders as required by the FATF standard in developing the 2025-2029 EMS safety strategy. You will recall that the mutual evaluation report basically recommended that Sierra Leone should develop a strategic plan that will assist the country in implementing a robust EMS safety regime. So I thank you very much for this particular exercise and for bringing all stakeholders together. And I want to say that the strategy, when completed, will help to provide clear direction for the country in the development and implementation of robust EMS safety regime, particularly by closing the gaps already identified in the system and duplicate practices, and then providing resources to the different stakeholder institutions, as well as strengthening existing institutions, their processes and procedures. So this is a welcome development, and in particular, Sierra Leone has chosen the single framework approach that is coming together by developing both the EMS CFT, the CFT, and the CPF strategy combined in one document. And this is in line with the requirement of the FATF, that the country can choose single framework or different framework. So I commend you for this. I wish to join all stakeholders to ensure they sustain the commitment they have shown by participating in this workshop, which is just one of the activities that are already put together for the design and development of the strategy. We will work together with all stakeholders, along with the national experts that have been also identified to work with me. And I want to assure you that at the end, we will come up with a robust document that will assist the country in moving forward. And I want to also thank you for inviting the former office Java for being here too, because we have been in this journey together. I also want to thank the Director General of FIA and his team, the project management team, and the Bank of Sierra Leone for their cooperation, their support to us in the carrying out this exercise. I want to say, I wish you successful workshop. We are here to provide the needed support and guidance when required. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, our independent consultant. Although we did not see you, but we eloquently heard you, and we internalize all your pieces of advice regarding our coming together as a nation to pay attention to this process. But we are even overwhelmed by your commendation of Sierra Leone's initiatives in organizing this particular workshop, which is a very important benchmark for international cooperation. And we are happy that you have continued to lend a helping hand, and you will also do so in the foreseeable future until we get a document that's really representative of credibility of Sierra Leone. But I think you commended us in a way that should make us proud as Sierra Leoneans. It will seem to me that not many countries have done this, that is integrating the AML, CFT, and CPF into a single framework. The fact that Sierra Leone is doing that is a testament to our uniqueness again, because in many things, Sierra Leone has always led the way. In the sense of reform, Sierra Leone has led the way. So if in AML, CFT, and CPF framework, we are also going to coalesce all of these elements into a single document, then that is something we should be proud of, and that is going to energize us further to pay some attention to what we are doing, because the independent consultant has advised us to sustain our commitment, and he has also alluded to the fact that this is something that's supposed to derive its sources from several of the state institutions that are working together, which is actually trying to underpin a point that has been severally made by our previous speakers, that of collaboration. So it's a key thing. But then the desired goal is for us to have a robust document for Sierra Leone at the end of the day. And therefore, his appeal is that let us give it our best, let us screw our courage to the sticking point, so that we'll be able to derive that kind of expected document. Thank you very much, our independent consultant, for those pieces of advice. We assure you that we'll take heed to that, so that Sierra Leone we gain exonerate itself. Thank you very much. We are moving forward, and at this point now, which is actually going to preamble the keynote, is now our Honorable Attorney General Minister of Justice, who will also be coming to the podium to make his own statement. He is no less a person than Honorable Alpha Sise. Thank you, you are welcome.
The Honorable Justice Monfred Sise, the Honorable Resident Minister, Southern Region, Honorable Ministers of Government, Members of Parliament, representatives of regulatory bodies and law enforcement agencies, development partners, members of the private sector, distinguished ladies and gentlemen, good morning. It always feels great to be in this company. I feel like in government, I've been part of the evolution of this institution. I think I can go back to the time when it was very easy to say the Anti-Money Laundering and Combating the Financing of Terrorism Act, 2012, to now, the not so easy and long title of the legislation being the Anti-Money Laundering, Combating the Financing of Terrorism, and Financing the Proliferation of Weapons of Mass Destruction Act of 2024. I think I have asked my brother numerous times whether we wouldn't have found a way to shorten this. But I think it was just important to have a legislation that captures everything. But it's also really testament to the length and breadth of the work that we want to do in this space. Make Sierra Leone safe for everyone, and provide leadership in the sub-region to make sure that transnational crimes do not find their way into our respective countries. We've always said that when the South Africans talk about Ubuntu, when they say I am because you are, I also like to talk about this in the context of security or transnational crimes broadly. Say, we are only safe when others around us are safe. And so that is how, as a government, we will continue to approach the work of the Financial Intelligence Agency. So once again, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As noted, it is both an honor and privilege to join you at this important workshop on the National Strategy and Action Plan for Anti-Money Laundering and Countering the Financing of Terrorism and Proliferation Financing. This workshop, ladies and gentlemen, marks a significant milestone in our collective commitment to safeguarding the integrity of our financial systems and upholding the rule of law and protecting our nation from the threats posed by illicit financial flows and terrorism financing. Today, we assemble here again with an acute awareness that money laundering and terrorist financing are not abstract threats. Rather, they are real and existing national and transnational crimes that not only erode trust in our financial and other institutions, but also fund organized crimes, perpetuate corruption, and undermine national development. We are gathered here today not just to develop strategies to frustrate emerging trends and new typologies, but to also reassure ourselves that together we can develop a robust mechanism for anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism and proliferation financing regime. Ladies and gentlemen, the Office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice plays a crucial role in ensuring the legal and regulatory frameworks are in place and effectively implemented to combat money laundering and terrorist financing and other related financial crimes. We do so not only by drafting and promulgation of laws, but also by providing legal advice to law enforcement agencies and supervising authorities with a firm representation of government in related legal proceedings. As an office, we are more than prepared to continue with prosecution of AML CFTPF, and we shall be developing a data and strategic regime to evidence this fact. We believe that developing such a data and strategic regime is really crucial to ensuring that we are effective and efficient, but also ensuring that we are transparent in what we do in a way that we hold ourselves accountable to what we do, but also we hold ourselves accountable to you. Also makes easier for coordination with other actors in and out of Sierra Leone. So yes, I want to thank the law enforcement agencies present here for your continued support in investigations. But I also want to use this opportunity to urge you to not relent in identifying emerging trends and new typologies. We should be mindful that criminals move with the time, and we cannot have an effective anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism and other issues and target emerging criminal disciplines. continue to grow in the way we handle the accountability regime or prosecution specifically. And that is why I'm pleased that the learned judge made reference to the enactment of the Criminal Procedure Act, which we now know will come into effect at the start of the next criminal session, which will be in September. And that will provide for electronically generated evidence, but also will shorten the time that we conduct trials, taking it from the magistrate court right up to the high court. So in a way, as you grow in your response to transnational crimes, we also grow in the way that we want to support the work that you do. So it is my desire that within the next 2 days here in the city of Sweetbo, I make emphasis on Sweetbo because, the resident minister is here, but also noting that I spent several of my formative years here in Bo as pupil of the Great Bo School. So for those of you who are visiting, I can see people shaking their heads. Yes, you're free to do that. For those of you who are visiting, it's like when you go to Freetown, the point at the landmarks that you should visit. So when you're in Bo, make sure that you visit the Bo School campus. It's part of the landmarks for this country. So yes, it is really my desire that, for the next couple of days in this city of Sweetbo, together we shall identify the visible and invisible gaps in our anti-money laundering and countering the financing of terrorism and proliferation finance regime. And we'll use these discussions to proffer tangible solutions to address these gaps. And together, we can make Sierra Leone a better place. And of course, while making Sierra Leone a better place, we can use this to also strengthen systems within the sub-region. So it is on that note, ladies and gentlemen, that I, on behalf of the entire office of the Attorney General and Minister of Justice, encourage us all to continue our strong existing cooperation. And also to continue our collaboration as we join the Financial Investigations Agency to strategize and plan to address the lacunas that pose serious threat to our financial system. I also want to use this opportunity, ladies and gentlemen, to thank the leadership of the FIA and the entire institution for organizing this national event that gears towards addressing the menace within our financial system, which, as a result, will enhance national development. But also thanks to the institution and to all partners that support the institution's work for really working together with us in the justice sector to keep Sierra Leone safe. But also to thank the institution for the great work, because through the institution, Sierra Leone is providing leadership in the sub-region when it comes to response to transnational crimes. It was just a few days ago we were in Dakar, really engaged in deliberations with colleagues from other countries in the sub-region. And I think we came back with renewed vigor and with a lot of appetite, I would say, to strengthen our own systems. So we are meeting benchmarks. We are evolving as a country, and we are making sure that Sierra Leone is not a safe haven for illicit financial flows or terrorist financing. And I'd like to, give the assurances of my office that you can count on us in working together, and I'm sure we can count on you too, because we are only able to succeed if we do this together. And that is why I'm really pleased that the judiciary is also represented here. Because I like to see, when we talk about our response to illicit financial flows or transnational crimes. We're all connected in the work that we do, right? It's like, for those who are project management experts, they like to talk about the triple quadrant. Say if one area of the triple quadrant is affected, the entire chain is affected. And that is how I really see our response here, that our efforts should be coordinated, and really noting that if one area or one sector is affected, we all become affected. So let us do this work together, ladies and gentlemen. And so it is on that note that I want to thank you for your kind attention and to wish you all fruitful deliberations in the city of Sweet Bowl. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Okay, sorry. Yes. 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 All right. I think we should give another round of applause to the Honorable Attorney General Minister of Justice. Those words show remarkable clarity and brilliance, and I think it's admonishment that we count on his office, but he also counts on us. Is calling for a kind of reciprocal understanding, which again underpins the fact that combating terrorist financing, money laundering require a collective effort. So all of the institutions that have been invited to this workshop are here because your institutions are relevant to our unified national objective of combating terrorist financing, which actually undermines the integrity, stability, and economic safety of any state. He has assured us that his office is ready to ensure that all AML, CFT, and CPF crimes are prosecuted. I think that is quite positive, because if we catch people who are criminals in these areas but not able to prosecute them, it is like we are wasting our energy. So the fact that the embodiment of the law in Sierra Leone has told us that they are ready to work with us and to prosecute these people is a very good takeaway from this workshop. But then he has advised us that if we want to effectively address money laundering and terrorist financial threats, then we have to be abreast with contemporary issues, because a lot of training are taking place, and so if you are not of faith with these developments, you will not be able to understand the intricacies of fighting this particular crime, which is so dynamic. I think that's the worthy piece of advice that we need to take down, so that because of the plenary, those are issues we are going to further discuss, so that we hatch out what are the available options to be able to explore that particular advice. So we want to say thank you very much, Honorable Attorney General and Minister of Justice, and also for your presence in spite of your very tight schedule. We are now coming to the climax of this session, which is the keynote address. The keynote address will be given by the Deputy Minister of Finance to Honorable Bokari Kaloko, who himself has only traveled over this morning, so that he will be here with us to make the statement. But he just returned from abroad yesterday. So you are welcome, Honorable. Yes.
Thank you very much, Mr. Chairman. You know, when your boss, the Attorney General, stood up and I had to stand. So I have to ensure I follow my boss. Mr. Chairman, colleague ministers, honorable member of parliament, the deputy governor, permit me, all of you, to stand on existing protocols. Indeed, when you said I traveled just this morning, I've done it 3 times in a week. Just this morning, I had to come. I left yesterday, Senegal. Myself and the Honorable Minister to the General were in Senegal for the GMC, the CMFI issues. And I also had to travel from Paris on Friday to attend a meeting on Saturday. So I've been traveling for the whole week just to ensure that I commit to the FIU, because I have the delegated authority as Deputy Minister of Finance too, to chair the Financial Intelligence Agency, and I think we've been sailing through for the past years, because I'm coming from a very deep background in banking, and then today I can see some familiar faces here. So it is indeed an honor and privilege to stand here to address you today on the critical national strategy and action plan stakeholders workshop on AML, CFT, and CPF strategy. Again, as chairman of the Financial Intelligence Agency's Advisory Board, I stand before you with a deep sense of responsibility, recognizing the pivotal role we all play in safeguarding Sierra Leone's financial integrity and national security. Just on Saturday, I must say I was quite impressed with the Attorney General. We had a heated debate whereby the Sahel nations, the 3 nations that have got themselves out of ECOWAS, wanted to be in JIBA, and our Attorney General did a brilliant presentation as head of delegation in ensuring that made a statement that was also upheld by the chairman of the JIBA. I must commend the Attorney General for taking that stance. It shows that as a man of wit, as a man of serious support, and somebody that have Sierra Leone at heart. Financial crime is not just a legal or economic issue. It is a societal scourge that undermines development, fuels corruptions, and erodes public trust. Globally, it accounts for an estimated 5% of GDP, amounting to trillions of dollars lost annually. Here in West Africa, the impact is staggering, with the region losing approximately 50 billion each year to illicit financial flows. Sierra Leone is not immune. So I was happy when my brother, the Justice C, said that it's an attractive enterprise. And I also want to assure you, Justice, that the Ministry of Finance is very committed in supporting all the actions around FIA and in fighting money laundering. The threats we face through money laundering, terrorist financing, proliferation financing, and related predicate offenses are not isolated challenges. They are interconnected, transnational, and increasingly sophisticated, exacerbated by rapid technological advancement. These crimes corrode our institutions, threaten national security, and empower organized criminal network. Under the astute and exceptional leadership of His Excellency, the President, Eternal Brigadier Julius Maada Bio, the government of Sierra Leone has demonstrated unshakable resolve in this fight. Key achievements include: 1, enacting the AML CFT CPF Act 2024, a landmark legislation that strengthens our legal framework and elevates Sierra Leone's standing in the global financial integrity community. a testament that was commended in the last GMC meeting. We are at an advanced stage towards securing membership in the prestigious Egmont Group, a testament of our progress in financial intelligence and international cooperation. I'm pleased to note that Sierra Leone hosted the last JIBA plenary and 29th Interministerial Committee meeting in November 2024, reinforcing our leadership role in West Africa's anti-laundering crime effort almost over 20 years when it was hosted. So, and that was indeed a success. I must commend the Director General of the FIA. He has been a very pivotal personnel in the finance in JIBA. As Minister of Finance and Chairman of the Advisory Board, I affirm the government's full commitment for this cause. We remain steadfast in aligning with JIBA, FATF, and other international standards, ensuring that Sierra Leone is not just compliant, but a proactive leader in this fight. The task ahead is daunting, but insurmountable. Success hinges on sectoral expertise, and your insights over these past 2 days will shape our approach to combating economic crime in all its various forms for the next 5 years. Therefore, I urge you all to be bold and be candid. This is more than a workshop. It is a defining moment. And I was pleased when the President Minister said that this is not just a document, but it's a blueprint for national development. This was also reiterated by the Director General, saying that we are co-printing a national solution. So indeed, this is a national solution. Let us approach this deliberation with the seriousness they demand. Let our contribution be thoughtful, actionable, and resolute. History will judge us not by our words, but our action. Together, we can disrupt illicit networks, protect our citizens, and secure Sierra Leone's economic future as we approach the third round of mutual evaluation. I wish you all a purposeful and productive discussion. I thank you.
Thank you, sir. Thank you very much, Honorable Minister. I think he has underscored the relevance of this workshop because he sees financial crimes as scourges based on their destructive nature and the fact that they will rob any country of its integrity and financial development. And he has also emphasized the fact that this is something that should be taken seriously so that we build a kind of a framework that will be ironclad to be able to deal with this particular threat that we have, which has its implications in various forms. I will be remiss if I fail to mention the fact that the minister assures the Financial Intelligence Agency of their continued commitment because they've been supporting you before, because they see this as a critical endeavor that you are leading on. So you too must be able to leverage that opportunity so that we are able to implement this framework in a way that it will benefit Sierra Leone. So I want to say thank you very much for your keynote, which also resonates with most of what the previous speakers have said, all of which are actually underscoring the need for us to pay attention to this workshop so that we'll be able to develop this document. We want to also thank you for your efforts in this realm because you are the chairman. You'll be able to also put a lot of efforts into this. And also for your courage and strength, the fact that you just flew yesterday and you are here with us this morning so that you can grace the occasion. And we want to express our profound thanks and appreciation to you. Thank you very much. I think we have actually dealt with the critical areas of the opening session. I think we are now going to terminate on this by having a group photo, and the director, yes, can give us the further instruction on.
All right, thank you, Chairman. So we'll be having a group photograph. The high table will be front, and then we'll expect all other participants to stand at the back of the high table. After that, we'll proceed for tea break, by which time the hall will be ready for the technical session to commence. So thank you very much. Mr. Pele is the photographer, and where are we taking the group photographers? Can we bring here? Yeah. So we advise that we request every other participant to come at the back of the high table so we can have the group photograph. Thank you.